I've always found the subject of UFOs fascinating since childhood. The thought of little spacemen flying to our planet in spaceships is such a fun thought. Films like E.T. and Close Encounters fueled the imaginations of lots of people. So did Alien and Predator. The UFO subject itself has been subject to scrutiny since forever. If you talked about UFOs or even mention it unironically, you're looked at kind of funny. I can confirm, even in the 2023. It's not just something that a lot of people are ready for, believe it or not. And even researching this, there are places in this iceberg that are going to get really weird and may make you uncomfortable and possibly scare you. So we're starting simple here with Tier 1. In the desert of New Mexico in 1947, a craft of unknown origin was claimed to have crashed, leaving a bunch of debris and occupants. The reports from the media worldwide were the thought of aliens landing on the planet. It sparked the curiosity of everyone. Over the days after the initial alleged crash, the military initiated an investigation of its own and determined that the landing itself was not of extraterrestrial origin, but a balloon from the top-secret program by the codename Project Mogul, or Operation Mogul. The purpose for Project Mogul was to record long-distance Soviet bomb tests from a series of microphones tied to mylar balloons. The project ran from 1947 to 1949 and was decommissioned for cheaper options. Before all of that happened, though, the RAAF initially announced that it recovered debris from a flying saucer. The Roswell Daily Record immediately picked up the press release, and on July 8th, the story was printed with the headline, RAAF captures flying saucer on ranch in Roswell region. It was never determined if it was in fact a UFO that crashed in Roswell that year. During the evening of March 13, 1997, thousands of people witnessed a series of floating lights over the mountains of Phoenix, Arizona. Floods of calls came into the local police stations, reporting a large V-shaped object floating into the sky, headed southeast at a super slow rate of speed. Slow for as large as the object was described to be. The object was reported to silently drift over neighborhoods. Reports of brilliant lights flying in formation, one amateur astronomer stating that it was a series of objects, not just one. The incident was reported on and explained by the U.S. Air Force as Operation Snowbird, a pilot training program which operated in the winter by the Air National Guard from an Air Force base in Tucson, Arizona. A Tucson astronomer and retired Air Force pilot said that there was also investigations of two separate sightings, but it was traced back to this operation. In December 1980, there was a bunch of reports of strange lights in the sky over Rendlesham Forest in Suffolk, England. The lights that were seen were in a part of the forest that were maintained by the Air Force Base at the time. It's reported that late one night on December 27th that the lights were seen over the Rendlesham Forest descending to the ground. Per the report released by Lieutenant Colonel Charles Holt, who was present, he said that when he entered the forest to investigate, a large glowing object was seen, and it was appearing metallic and had several colored lights. It moved slowly through the trees and had a very strange effect on the animals nearby. Lieutenant Colonel Holt had also a tape recorder with him, in which he documented the investigation of the forest.
150 feet or more from the initial, I should say, suspected impact point. Having a lift car, we can't get the light all to work. Seems to be some kind of mechanical problem. Let's send it back and get another light on. Meantime, we're going to take some readings for the Gator Cutter and chase around here a little bit, wait for another light on to come back in. Standing up. The security control. Yes, that's one of the five number. Okay, we're now approaching the area within about 25-30 feet. What kind of readings are we getting? Anything? Just minor clicks. Minor clicks. What are the impressions? Is that a little bigger they are? Well, there's one more well to the security control. We're still getting clicks. Can we read that on the scale?
Yes, sir. We're now on the 5/10 scale, and we're reading about third, fourth increment.
Okay, we're still comfortably safe here.
You don't have a light on, full gas ready? Security. Can you have them, Sergeant?
There's still minor readings. The second
With gas?
pod orientation.
Security.
This one's good. Let's go to the third one over here.
Yes, now I'm getting some residual.
I can read now. The meter's definitely giving a little pulse. Okay, so that's what I was going to say. Let's go to the center of the area next and see what kind of reading we get out there. You're reading the clicks. I can't hear the clicks. Yes, go. Got about the center, Bruce? Okay, let's go to the center.
Yes, I'm getting
That's the best deflection of the needle I've seen yet. Okay, can you give me an estimation? We're on the 0.5 scale. We're getting... We have a couple readings.
at approximately 01:25 hours. We're getting right at a half of a middle right now.
Nice point. I haven't seen it go any higher.
There's no point right
Okay, we'll go out toward the...
now. It's picking up.
This is out toward the number one indentation where we first got the strongest reading. Yeah, it's similar to what we got in the center.
In the pond. It's mainly in the center. Looks like an area here possibly. It could be a blast. It's in the center.
It's hard to tell. You got to take this. My finger's about to freeze.
Here too.
Up to what, 7?
What?
Just jumped up to 7/10 there.
7/10 right there in the center? Uh-huh. We found a small blast, what looks like a blasted or scruffed up area here. We're getting very positive readings. Let's see, is that near the center?
Yes, it is. This is what we would assume would be the dead center.
Just picking up more as you go along the whole area here now.
Up to 7/10 or 7 units, let's call it, on the 0.5 scale. Okay, why don't we do this? Why don't we make a sweep? Here, I've got my gloves on now. Let's make a sweep out around the whole area, about 10 foot out, and make a perimeter run around it, starting right back here at the corner. Back at the same first corner where we came in. Let's go right back here. Don't let it depend upon you counting the clicks.
Right.
Okay, let's
I'll tell you as it gets lighter.
then I can put the light on it and sweep around it. It would flat. Put it on the ground every once in a while.
This looks like an abrasion on the
Okay, we'll catch that on the way back. Let's go around. One guy hit it there.
And then the interest right over here. It looks like an abrasion pointing into the center.
It is. It may be old though. There's some sap marks or something on it. Let's go on back around. All right.
So it gives some extension.
Yeah, this is an awkward thing to use, isn't it?
Normally, see, I can carry it on my ears, but this one broke.
Are we getting anything further? I'm going to shut your quarter off till we find something. Picking up? What are we up to? We're up to 2, 3 units. Deflection. You're getting in close to one pod.
Picking up something here. Picking up.
Okay, it's still not going above 3 or 4 units.
Picking up more though. More frequent.
Yes, you're staying.
Together.
You're staying steady up around 2 to 3 to 4 units now. Yeah.
One of these trees that face into the blast, what we assume is a landing site, all have an abrasion facing in the same direction towards the center. The same
That's interesting. Well, let's go the rest of the way around the circle here. Bring it back down here.
Picking up something here.
collection.
I can see that. That's kind of funny. You're right about the abrasion. I've never seen a tree that's, never seen a pine tree that's been damaged react that fast.
I got a bottle to put that in.
Yeah, you got a sample bottle?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Can I get some of that?
Yeah, here, stick this on the ground.
You'll notice they're all the same.
Okay, from now on, let's identify that as point number 1. That stake there. So you all know where it is if we have to sketch it. You got that side, Nevels?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Closest to the wood bridge base.
Point 1.
Be point 1. And let's go clockwise from there.
Point 2.
Point 2? So this tree is between point 2.
I have Aaron Burroughs and 2 other personnel requesting you rendezvous with you at your location. Tell them negative at this time. We'll tell them when they can come out here. We don't want them out here right now.
Okay, the sample, you're going to mark this sample number 1.
Yes.
Have them cut it off and include some of that sap and all. Is between indentation 2 and 3 on a pine tree about 5 feet away, about 3.5 feet off the ground.
I've got some more.
There's a round abrasion on the tree about 3.5, 4 inches in diameter. It looks like it might be old, but strange, there's a crystalline pine sap that's come out that fast. You see those other trees here that are damaged in similar fashion?
Yes, off towards the center of the landing site.
Okay, why don't you take a picture of that and remember your picture, and you got to be writing this down. It's going to be on the tape.
Right. Got a tape measure with you?
This is the picture. Your first picture will be at the first tree, the one between mark 2 and 3. Meantime, I'm going to look at a couple of these trees over here.
We are getting some.
You're getting readings on the tree you're taking samples from on the side facing the suspected landing site.
4 clicks max.
Up to 4. Interesting. That's right where you're taking the sample now. 4. That's the strongest point on the tree?
Yes, sir. If you come to the back, there's no clicks whatsoever.
No clicks at all on the back. It's all on the
Maybe one
side
too.
facing the... Interesting. The indentations look like something twisted as it got, as it sat down on them. Looks like someone took something and sat it down and twisted it from side to side. Very strange. We're looking at the same tree we took the sample off with this, what do you call it, star scope?
Star
You're getting a definite heat reflection off the tree, about 3 to 4 feet off the ground.
Yes, where the spot is.
Same place where the spot is. We're getting a heat.
The spot on the tree directly behind us, I picked up the same thing. The one off to your right.
3 trees in the area, immediately adjacent to the site, within 10 feet of the suspected landing site. We're picking up heat reflection off the trees. What's that again?
Well, shine a light on again, Bob.
Well, you have trouble hitting the Yeah.
Get right on the spot, and then when you want them
Okay,
to
turn the light on.
white, you'll notice the white.
Hey. You're right. There's a white streak on the tree.
Indicates
Let me turn around and look at this tree over here now. Just a second. White streak right on the tree. I can see it. Wait a minute. Give me a little side lighting so I can find the tree. Okay. Off. I lost the tree. Okay, stop. Light off. Hey, this is eerie.
Why don't you do the hot spot?
This is strange. Here, somebody want to look at the spots in the ground? Whoops. What you know? We're walking all over the place, sir. Okay, let's step back and not walk all over it. Come back here, somebody put a beam on them. Or you're going to have to be back 10 or 15 feet. You see it?
Okay, fine.
Okay, lights off. What do you think about the spot? Yeah. Lexi, at the first spot? Okay, that's what we'd call spot number 3. Let's go to the back corner and get spot number 1. Spot number 1. Here's spot number 1 right here. Spot number 1 right here. You need some light? There it is right there. You focused? Okay. Looking out spot number 1 through the starlight scope.
Slight increase in light as I go over.
Slight increase in light at spot number 1. Let's go look at spot number 2. Spot number 2 is right over here. Right here. See it? Okay, get focused on it. Tell me when. Okay. Lights out. Let's see what we get on in.
Slight increase.
Just a slight increase?
Try to center.
The center spot. Well, it really isn't center. It's slightly off center. It's right there. Okay. I'm going to get your reading on it right there.
Okay.
Tell me when you're ready.
Ready.
Okay, lights out. This is the center spot we're looking at now. Almost the center. Slight increase there. This is slightly off center toward the 1-2 side. It's some type of abrasion or something in the ground where the pine needles are all pushed back, and where we get a high reading about deflection of 2 to 3, maybe 4, depending on the point on it.
Yes. You said there's a positive after effect? Yes, there is definitely. That's on the center spot. There is an after effect.
What does that mean?
It means when the lights are turned off, once we are focused in and allow time for the eyes to adjust, we are getting an indication of a heat source coming out of that center spot, which will show up on the
Heat or some form of energy. It's hardly heat at this stage of the game. Looking directly overhead, one can see an opening in the trees plus some freshly broken pine branches on the ground underneath. Looks like some of them came off about 15 to 20 feet up. Some small branches about an inch or less in diameter. 0148, we're hearing very strange sounds out of the farmer's barnyard animals. They're very, very active, making an awful lot of noise.
Yes, and a pigmentation.
You just saw a light where? Wait, no, slow down. Where?
Right in this position here, straight ahead, in between the tree. There it is again. Watch, straight ahead off my flashlight there, sir. There it is.
Hey, I see it too. What is it?
We don't know, sir.
So can I get some of it? Yeah, it's a strange, small red light. It looks to be out maybe a quarter to half mile, maybe further out. I'm going to switch off. The light is gone now. It was approximately 120 degrees from the site. Is it back again?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's the flashlight set. Let's move out to the edge of the clearing so we can get a better look at it. See if you can get the star scope on it. The light's still there, and all the barnyard animals have gotten quiet now. Yeah, we're heading about 110 to 120 degrees from the site out through to the clearing now. Still getting a reading on the meter. About 2 clicks. Meter's jumped 3 to 4 clicks, getting stronger.
Now it's stopped. Now it's coming up. Hold up. There we go. It's about approximately 4 foot off the ground. It comes to test of 110 degrees.
All right, just turn the meter off. You gotta say that again. About 4 feet off the ground, about 110 degrees, getting a reading of about 4 clicks.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, but
Excuse me. No, it's dying.
no, it's not. I think it's something other than the ground. I think it's something variable here.
Tree right over.
We just frightened the first night bird we've seen. We're about 150 or 200 yards from the site. Everything else is just deathly calm. There's no doubt about it. There's some type of strange flashing red light ahead.
There's yellow.
I saw a yellow tinge in it, too. Weird. It appears to be maybe moving a little bit this way. It's brighter than it has been.
Yellow.
It's coming this way. It is definitely coming this way. Pieces of it are shooting off. There is no doubt about it. This is weird.
To the left.
Yeah, definitely moving left.
Two lights. One light to the front,
Okay.
one light to the left.
Keep the flashlights off. There's something very, very strange. Get the headset on. See if it gets any stronger. Okay. Give us a rundown.
Notation that this is on a beta reading, too.
It's on the beta reading?
Beta
Okay.
shield has been removed.
Okay. Pieces are falling off it again.
It just moved to the right.
Yeah.
Off to the right.
Strange. Oh, we're running to the left. Let's approach to the edge of the woods up there. Can you want to do it without lights? Let's do it carefully. Come on. Okay, we're looking at the thing. We're probably about 200 to 300 yards away. It looks like an eye winking at you. It's still moving from side to side. And when you put the star scope on it, it sort of has a hollow center, or a dark center. It's like the pupil of an eye looking at you and winking. And the flash is so bright to the star scope that it almost burns your eye.
We passed the farmer's house and across in the next field. Now we have multiple sightings of up to 5 lights with a similar shape and all, but they seem to be steady now rather than a pulsating or glow with a red flash. We just crossed the creek, and we're getting what kind of readings now? Getting through 3 good clicks on the meter, and we're seeing strange lights in the sky. 244, we're at the far side of the second farmer's field, and made sighting again about 110 degrees. This looks like it's clear out to the coast. It's right on the horizon. Moves about a bit and flashes from time to time. Still steady or red in color. Also, after negative readings in the center of the field, we're picking up slight readings, 4 or 5 clicks now on the meter. 305, we see strange strobe-like flashes to the rather sporadic, but there's definitely something, some kind of phenomenon. 305, at about 10 degrees horizon directly north, we've got 2 strange objects, half-moon shape, dancing about with colored lights on them. About, guessed to be about 5 to 10 miles out, maybe less. The half-moons have now turned into full circles. As though there was an eclipse or something there for a minute or two. 315 now, we've got an object about 10 degrees directly south, 10 degrees off the horizon. And the ones in the north are moving, one's moving away from us. It's moving out fast. This one on the right's heading away, too. Yeah, we're both heading north. Okay, here he comes from the south. He's coming toward us now. Now we're observing what appears to be a beam coming down to the ground. This is unreal. 330, 0330, and the objects are still in the sky, although the one to the south looks like it's losing a little bit of altitude. We're turning around and heading back toward the base. The object to the south is still beaming down lights to the ground. 0400 hours, one object still hovering over Woodbridge Base at about 5 to 10 degrees off the horizon, still moving erratic and similar lights and beaming down as earlier.
During the night of September 19th, Betty and Barney Hill were on their way home on a rural road from vacation. In the night sky, there was a bright light that was observed by Betty moving in a really weird way. Betty asked Barney to pull over the car, and in that time the craft approached the couple. Betty and Barney arrived home that morning right before dawn. When interviewed, they reported they both did feel weird, had sensations that were not normal for them. They tried to recollect the events that happened the night together, but realized that they both lost memories around the same time. Since a lot of what was said by Betty and Barney Hill was confusing, they both agreed to hypnosis after meeting a captain in the Air Force, who just so happened to be a guest speaker at their church. He was super interested in their story, but mostly how they couldn't recall portions of the night. While Barney was hypnotized, he often screamed about eyes looking at him or being pushed into his eyes. He recalled driving the car away from the UFO, but afterward, he felt irresistibly compelled to pull off to the side and drive into the woods. He eventually sighted 6 men standing on a dirt road. The car stalled, and 3 of the men approached the car. They told Barney not to fear them. He was still anxious, however, and he reported that the leader told Barney to close his eyes. While hypnotized, Barney said, "I felt like the eyes had pushed into my eyes." Betty and Barney returned to normal as much as possible, not really looking for publicity but known to go to a conference or two. Barney died of a brain hemorrhage at 46 and Betty died at age 85, having never remarried. There's a lot more to this story, and I had no idea of any of it. The star map that was determined to be real, then fake, that to the end of Betty's life and her credibility. It was super tainted because she was known to spout nonsense as well as not being able to distinguish normal objects in the sky. It's kind of sad, actually. At 1 a.m., less than 3 months after the U.S. joined World War II, responding to Japan's attack on Pearl Harbor, also the day after an attack in Santa Barbara from Japanese submarines called the Bombardment of Elwood, a report of an incoming attack caused an entire of Los Angeles County to black out and thousands of artillery to be shot in the sky. Shortly after 2 a.m. on February 25th, military radar picked up what appeared to be an enemy contact about 120 miles west of Los Angeles. And reports began to circulate about an unidentified flying object as spotlights searched the sky for something. The shooting happened for over an hour and nothing was shot out of the sky. However, 5 people did die. But from what I gather, those were from heart attacks and car accidents due to the blackout. While the military stated the incident itself was nothing more than a false alarm, escalated by trigger fingers and nerves, others in the area reported that night seeing strange set of planes or strange set of lights, one general accounting at least 15 objects, but later backpedaled.
UFO researchers have long suspected that a government cover-up has prevented the public from knowing the full story about visitors from other planets.
None of the evidence that I have examined would indicate any proof at all that we are being visited by extraterrestrials.
We have not been hiding anything. The investigations have been made public.
Do you believe UAPs pose a potential threat to our national security?
Yes, and here's why. The technology that we faced was far superior than anything that we had.
These objects were staying completely stationary in Category 4 hurricane winds.
If aliens crossed the galaxy in whatever is their spaceship and arrived at Earth just to throw some balloons across North America, I'm thinking, really? Really?
Really doesn't matter whether UFOs are real or not. If enough people believe that something is real, then it is real in its effects. Sure. Or could it be manipulated purposely by people who have the technology to simulate UFO sightings? And people say, well, of course not. Who would do a thing like that? Well, I would remind you that during the Watergate investigation, it was discovered that there was a plan originated in the White House to surface a submarine off the coast of Cuba and paint the second coming of Christ over the island of Cuba using holograms.
Imagine everything you've been taught, whether it's through Sunday school or through regular formal education in school, or what our political leaders have told us, and yes, even maybe our mothers and fathers around the dinner table have told us, or maybe at bedtime, about who we are, right? And our background and our past. What if all of that turned out to be not entirely accurate?